Hello everybody, it's Kim Wilson here, and it's time for our last card class of the year. Isn't that crazy? So this video and all the PDFs and everything are posted in our private group here in guide number 70. That's how many classes we've done. So in the last 5 or 6 years or so. Pretty amazing, huh? So for this class, life is busy, so I used a project that Stampin' Up! Gave us back in June with the Peaceful Garden Suite, which I just love. It has this beautiful sentiment stamp, and I love the heartfelt prayers, big hugs. So it's kind of in with the Christmas items, but really only two of the stamps are Christmassy, Peace on Earth and Peace, Love, Joy. The other ones are great for all sorts of occasions, and there's a nice sympathy stamp as well. So, and the dies are just gorgeous. So these beautiful doves in a little envelope with a heart, and some nice label dies. So unfortunately, this whole suite is retiring, so I can't believe they're retiring it, but you can still get the stamp set, the dies. The embossing folder has already sold out, but I believe the paper is continuing on. That's I think the only thing that's going to continue, but most of it's still all available except for the embossing folder. So we're going to do 2 easy cards in this first video, and then we'll do our fun fold in the last video. And the PDFs from Stampin' Up! Are posted, and for the most part I followed the PDFs, but I did simplify some of the projects because this was an advanced class for demonstrators. And since it's everything's retiring, I hope it's okay now to post those PDFs in our group for you guys. So we'll start with this one, and I'm just billing this as our easy layout card. So we've got beautiful blue colors. So I think this one's cloud cover, and then we're going to be using a lot of Misty Moonlight. And since we don't have the cloud cover ink, although I could use the ink refill, I'm going to use some Balmy Blue just to give some additional blue color here. So let's get our pieces out here. So we've got a piece of the beautiful Designer Series paper, and then we've got a piece of the Glimmer paper that goes along with this suite, and then this one here is the one for our sentiment. So let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment in Misty Moonlight, and that's going to be Heartfelt Prayers. I take a lot of cards to church, and so I think this will be a good one I can bring and get that inked up. Well, bring for everybody to take a lot of thinking of yous and things like that people like to have on hand and send out to others. So Heartfelt Prayers. And now this card, when we did it in class, we stepped it up. Instead of just having these 4 pieces assembled here, we did a couple of techniques. So this piece has the embossing folder on it, so it has that little leaf design. But we did 2 more techniques in the class, and one of them was using this tool for the Take Your Pick tool. It's an add-on tool that has another set of I can't even remember what it's called, but anyhow, this screws right onto the end of the Take Your Pick tool. I won't do it here now, but then this slides back and exposes this little perforated edge here. It's a little bit sharp, but not too bad. And then we ran it along with a ruler, and we took it all along the edges of that piece and on this piece too, just to give it some interest. And you could use that for a bookmark card or anything like that you want a perforated line. But we're going to skip that today because we're keeping this one easy. So we are just going to glue down all these pieces. Now, when we did this card in the class, we put them up on dimensionals, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to put them all down, and I'm just going to lay them where I want them first, just to make sure I have common margins. I learned that technique or that term on the virtual scrapbooking retreat that Stampin' Up! Has, and that's still available online. Actually, if you have any Christmas money coming, you might want to purchase that album retreat, because I learned so much on that retreat. They had a lot of great tips and ideas, because I want to get back into scrapbooking. So I was very happy to participate in that, and the videos are available forever. So it took me, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months to finish it, but just whenever I had a chance or whenever I was going to a crop, I worked on that album retreat and learned a lot. So there's our easy layout for today, and you can step it up easily. And the other thing, that actually there was a second technique they did on this class too, to step it up. When we glued down this panel here with the dimensionals, we left a space right here so we could tuck in a secret little panel, and we used one of the label dies and made a little panel with the little flower there, so we could tuck that little panel into the card and just made a little pull out secret message there. So that's another way you can step up that card to make it a little fancier. So that's all in the handout as well. So that card done, let's get on to the second one here. I love simple cards like this that have a lot of white space. I think they're just beautiful. And this one doesn't disappoint with those beautiful little strips. Again, I love my little strips of designer paper because you can do so much with them. I believe they look like 1/2-inch strips. All right, where's my bone folder? And let's see, I might have directions here. Let's see. Oh, they're 3/4 inch strips. Sorry, I was a little off. 3/4 inch strips. And on this card, you can see I really simplified the directions they gave us. There's that one. Okay, let's move along here. We've got our little strips here. Now, this particular paper was directional, so you want to kind of orient the direction. Well, this particular one wasn't so much, but this one, all the flowers, most of the flowers are going that direction, so I want to put that one like that. And here the flowers are all going that direction, so I want to orient that one in that way. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp first, because I like to stamp first in case I mess up, so then I can just move things to a different place. So let me move things up a little bit. I think I'm losing the bottom here. Okay, get things oriented where I want them. And then this sentiment is going to kind of add the 4th little section here. So we'll stamp it, add a little bit more ink, get that inked up well. Add it right there. Yeah, and I did kind of, I kind of wobbled on that one. So you know what? I can cover it up. I'm going to do it a little different. Cover that one up and try again, just to show you how you can, how nice it is to be able to stamp first, and then that one was much better. All right, so the technique they did on this card was tearing of the designer paper. So we're just going to tear a little bit of the edge off of each of the pieces, kind of alternating it. So the right edge there, the left edge there, and I'm left-handed, so you might do it differently, but you want to tear so that you get that little bit of white edge. And then all of those panels are popped up with dimensionals. So let me do the middle one first, where I'm covering up my messy sentiment. And then we'll get the other ones done. I think that just about covers that up. And then I'll add some more dimensionals. I was looking around for more dimensionals today. I have used those up like crazy. I am so glad they were on sale last month. All right, a few more of those. And then we'll do one more technique before we finish off this card. And that is with the die cuts. These little foliage pieces were die cuts from the from that Peace on Earth bundle. And I just cut them out of white cardstock, and what they had us do in the class was just grab a lighter blue. In this case, I have balmy blue here. I don't remember exactly what I used on my samples. I may have used cloud cover or balmy blue, and they had you just do the whole little piece of cardstock and then cut it out, die cut it. But I'm just gonna gently tap some color on it right now. I don't want it too dark, but just and you don't want to really pull the brush too much because that little die cut is kind of fragile. Just to add a little color to make it a little bit different than the other one, because you're putting two of those little foliage pieces onto the card. Okay, there they are. Okay, I'm going to use liquid glue for this one because they're so teeny. And if you notice, there's gaps here where you're kind of stretching across the little pieces. So I'm going to try to put my adhesive where it's going to hit onto those, those little DSP strips, so I'm not hanging off into midair. So since I'm doing mine a little differently, I have my sentiment up here instead of down there. It's kind of fun to see things in different ways. And then we'll find the blue one that we just colored and do the same thing. Put a little bit of glue on the top and then on the bottom leaves where it's going to hit the paper there, and those just kind of go nicely on top of each other like that. And then last, oh not last, a couple more things left. So we've got a little bow made out of linen thread, and I already tied my bows just to make things a little easier for the class. And let's put it down here a little bit further. I think it'll look good right there. I like to use my little glue dots from Paper Pumpkin since I have a lot of extra glue dots, or we do also have glue dots in the catalog. So put my bow there, and then these are the embellishments that go along with this suite. They are called Hues of Blue Flowers. So we've got all different shades of flowers, so you can grab a couple of those cute little flowers and tuck them there on the lower part, and then we've got our dimensionals under the upper part there, so it kind of gives it a nice firm layout there. So there we got a couple. And what do you think? Which one do you like better, the sentiment here or here? And I could have also done it like on the other side and kind of just flip-flopped all of my pieces. So a lot of different ways you can do that layout with the 3/4 inch strips and a little bit of linen thread, a little bit of blending. Oh, the other technique they did on this strip was they took the blending brush and added actually a little extra color to the designer paper too. So they did a bunch of techniques on these two cards. So that's why I love the advanced classes that Stampin' Up! Does, because we learn all sorts of fun techniques that you can use over and over again. And so let me grab my Heartfelt Prayers card, and there is the other one. And you can see them all together, and then I'll get cleaned up and get ready for the next card, which is our Fun Fold, which is really, really pretty. So see you in a little bit with the Fun Fold.